more of what makes you happy.
Be yourself, be positive. Just another mindset.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the episode number 0 of the Just Another Mindset podcast. The show that inspires you to change and live a more exciting life. My name is Ismael, and each week I will bring to you a meaningful conversation, message, or topic that will help you to live a more meaningful and satisfying life, individually and collectively. Let us get inspired and embrace collective change for the better. Today, we want to talk about the podcast and your host. So what is the idea of the Just Another Mindset podcast? Basically, I want to create a platform which inspires you, which inspires us to change towards the better. I hope it provides inspiration and tangible techniques on how to live a more exciting life, as an individual, but also as a collective. I want to bring you together with experts from different domains of life, all which are inspiring individuals. Together, we want to learn, and together, we want to grow. And hopefully, the topics and conversations on the Just Another Mindset podcast will help you to live a more exciting life. For me, change from within is change that will last. Let us get inspired and embrace change for the better. The Just Another Mindset podcast hopes to inspire individuals and communities. A lot of good stuff is happening. Let's talk about it. The name of the Just Another Mindset has multiple meanings. On the one hand, there is a lot of mindset podcasts already, and this is just another one. But also, if we just change our mindset, we can change a lot of things in our life. We can change our perception, and we can change our understanding of the present moment. If we can control our mindsets individually, but also as a collective, I believe that we can change for the better and achieve anything that we would like. There will be a new episode of the Just Another Mindset podcast every Tuesday. There will be a few solo episodes, especially in the beginning, so that you as an audience can get to know me, Ismael, as your host. But there will also be expert interviews. I want to connect with experts from different domains of life and create meaningful and inspiring conversations for you and for all of us. And I encourage you to share your thoughts and your comments from the very beginning so that we can shape this platform the best way it suits you. So who's the host of the Just Another Mindset podcast? My name is Ismael, and most people would describe me as an open-minded and joyful human being that cares for humanity and change. You may agree or disagree after a few episodes of this Just Another Mindset podcast. I believe that I'm here to change individuals and also systems from within. Change from within is change that lasts. I lived with changes from a very early age. In fact, the first big change in my life was moving to India when I was 3 months old. A lot of life has happened since then, and I'm happy to say that I live a very experience-packed and enthusiastic life, full of joyful moments. Feeling at home at different places of this world has taught me a lot about life, about changes, and about appreciation. And some of that knowledge I would like to share with you. My cultural, my personal, and my professional experience made me the person I am. They create the foundation for Just Another Mindset. And on this foundation, I want to create a platform that inspires you, that inspires all of us to change something towards the better, to change something that we can stand behind. So in today's episode, I will share some key milestones of my life and the decisions and experience that has brought me here. I want to encourage you to ask questions and comments in order for you to understand me better. And likewise, I would like to get a better understanding of who you are and why you are here today. Today, I want to talk briefly about major events and milestones in my life. If there is anything that you are interested in particular, please let me know and we can look at it in more detail. So if we start at the beginning, I'm made in India, I'm born in Germany, and when I was 3 months old, my family and I moved back to India. This is where I spent the first few years of my life, and this is where parts of my heart still belong. I started meditating when I was a small kid, because I'm born to a Buddhist mom. This is something that I kept on doing until today. The practice of meditation is something I still cultivate every day up till now. We came back to Germany when I was still fairly young, because my sister, who's 8 years older, was meant to go to secondary school. And at least back then, the school systems in Germany were better than the ones in India. We came back from India, and I spent most of my youth in Germany. I went to high school in Germany and finished my A-levels just to go back to India afterwards. There were many reasons for me to go back to India. I wanted to do a civil service. Back then, it was still compulsory in Germany, and I wanted to do it abroad. I had different ideas, I had different projects, but none of them really excited me. There was one in Canada, there was one in Scotland, but I wasn't quite sure if I really want to go for those. It didn't feel like the right choice. My brother-in-law one day told me that I could also go back to Oroville. This is the community where I grew up as a small kid. I didn't quite know what to think about this place. There were a lot of reasons why we initially went to Oroville, and there were a lot of reasons why we left it. In the end, I decided to create my own stories, to create my own understanding of this place. There were a lot of good reasons and a lot of bad reasons, reasons for and against Oroville in my family from different people, and I decided that I want to create my own experience. I didn't quite know what to expect when going to Oroville, but for me, that was a better solution than going for a project that I was not 100% behind, like the ones in Scotland and in Canada. I didn't quite know what experience I will gain. But today, I can say that this was one of the most important and one of the most memorable years of my life. I worked in an NGO and did social enterprise development. We set up 13 new enterprises, and I got to know that I really liked to create new things. I liked to create businesses. I knew that I want to create new things, and I wanted to learn more about businesses in order to do so. This journey has brought me to Amsterdam, Singapore, and the UK, where I studied my bachelor's and my master's. When living in Amsterdam, I became part of the techno scene over there. This also enriched my life with a lot of experiences I don't want to miss. I'm privileged to say that my brother-in-law, a photographer, and I worked on a book project that brought me around the world, including war zones. This book project portrays different musicians from all over the world that speak up against injustice, inequality, and this book project really gave them a platform for all their stories. And while working on this book, I encountered a lot of interesting and memorable individuals. I learned a lot about their struggles, I learned a lot about their worlds, and I learned a lot about myself as well. Lately, I have worked as a management consultant for 2 bigger and a small company. I'm very close with my sister and also my brother-in-law, and therefore I'm a very caring and I would say active uncle for 2 nephews and a niece. I always look on the bright side of life, and I would like to invite you to do the same. This, the Just Another Mindset podcast, is our platform. So why are we here today? Why now and why a podcast? During the pandemic, I got assigned to a project that was in a different time zone. In fact, it was 9 hours away from my own time zone. There was no way to travel, and there was no way that I could live in the same time zone that I worked. It meant that during the day, I worked in the European time zone, and during the night, I worked in the US time zone. And I can tell you that if you do that over months, it's not an enjoyable life at all. Luckily, I had started to get back in shape and do a lot of sports during the pandemic. Due to the fact that I didn't have to travel as much anymore, I had time for that, and I took time for that. Sadly, it wasn't as much fun to do sports during fall, and especially during winter, outside during the pandemic. The days got shorter, it got dark, it got cold, and I did my runs, but I also did my calisthenics outside on different playgrounds and different sport grounds, and it was not as much fun. So I asked myself, what can I change about the situation? I couldn't change that I work long nights, and I couldn't change much about the weather in Europe. But I could relocate. So I decided to move to Fuerteventura, to the Canary Islands, with a few friends of mine and work from there. Even though there was winter as well, I was able to do my daily sports in the sun again, and that changed the perspective on my life. But it also triggered some thoughts. I was faced with a decision. Either I could accept the circumstances that I'm in, or I needed to change something. My circumstances meant working with a lot of people, some of them nice, most of them not. Working on different projects, some of them exciting, most of them not. And I, for myself, took the decision that I don't want to accept those circumstances anymore. That those circumstances are not what make me happy and what bring me forward in my life. So I needed a change. And this change brought us here. But before that, I met my partner. I met my girlfriend in Fuerteventura as well. And we decided to get to know each other better. Getting to know each other better when one person works every evening and night is not so pleasant. So we decided to change something about our situation, even though we didn't know each other quite well. We decided to move to Central America, and this is where we stayed for a few months this year. During this time, I also decided that it's time to leave consulting for good. That it's time to live a more desired life and to live a more exciting life again. And I decided that I want to change something. I changed something for myself. But I also want to change something for you, as an individual. If you gain a new perspective on life, if you change your mindset, you can do anything you want. And I also would like to change something as a collective. If we commonly change our mindsets, change our perspectives, we can change, and we can change for the better. For me, being excited creates happiness. And the pillars for being excited are freedom, honesty, and positivity, all of which are built upon trust, authenticity, relationships, and a good health. I hope that this gives you a good overview of who I am. Again, if there is any topics you would like to dig in deeper, let me know, and I'm more than happy to discuss them. So what can you expect from the Just Another Mindset podcast? You can expect direct and yet inclusive conversations. There is no limits and there is no taboos. You can expect tools, methods, inspiration, and food for thought to do something and start acting. We want to challenge the status quo, and I want to help you to overcome your immunity to change. And overall, I hope to create a platform for inspiring topics to grow and to learn as individuals, but also as a collective. After talking quite a bit about myself, I would like to learn more about you. Who are you? And what would you like to hear more about on the Just Another Mindset podcast? What would you like to learn from this podcast? What would you like me to talk about? And who are guests that you would like to see on the Just Another Mindset podcast? What are areas of growth that you would like to focus on first? Please share some answers to one or all of those questions directly with me. You can send me a message on Instagram or via mail, contact@ismaelwondergarten.com, and we can shape a platform that helps you and that helps all of us. And with that, I want to thank you for tuning in and staying until the very end on the podcast episode about the Just Another Mindset podcast. If you enjoy this episode and learn from it, please make sure to share it with a friend or two, and also to subscribe on Apple and Spotify. On Apple, you may leave up to a 5-star review, and know that by doing so, you support me creating more meaningful content like this. Again, if there's any topic or guest that you would like to hear more about on the Just Another Mindset podcast, please get in touch via direct message. And if nobody told you lately, be reminded that you are worthy, you matter, and you can achieve anything you want.
Do more of what makes you happy.
Be yourself. Positive.
Change.
Just another mindset.